At the dawn of the electrical age, a war was being fought. Not on a battlefield, but in the streets of every growing city. A war for the future of light itself. On one side, Thomas Edison, America's greatest inventor, championing direct current. On the other, industrialist George Westinghouse, and between them, a mysterious new weapon. A Serbian immigrant named Nikola Tesla. He arrived with little but a mind that dreamed in rotating magnetic fields. He brought Westinghouse a new kind of electricity, alternating current. Edison's DC was like a mighty river, with no current, powerful at its source, but useless beyond a mile. Tesla's AC was like the tide. It could be pushed, pulled, transformed, and sent across continents. Tesla's system won. It lit the Chicago World's Fair. It harnessed Niagara Falls. It wired a nation. His alternating current became the bedrock of the modern world, powering every continent on Earth. But for Tesla, this was only the beginning. He had won the war for how to distribute power. Now, he declared war on the distribution itself. He saw the wires, the thousands of miles of copper crisscrossing the country, not as a triumph, but as a cage. He thought, what if you could eliminate them? What if you could send power through the air itself? His new weapon was the Wardenclyffe Tower. Not to send mere messages like Marconi's radio, but to transmit usable energy. To light a lamp in Paris from a tower in New York. To give the world free, wireless power. To the press, the public, and the powerful men funding him, this was not visionary. It was fantasy. It was hubris. It was madness. They labeled him a mad scientist. They cast him into obscurity. They believed his greatest work was behind him. They were wrong. This is the story of that madness. And the mounting evidence that Nikola Tesla wasn't losing his mind at the dawn of the 20th century. He was seeing a truth the 21st century is just beginning to grasp. This is the story of the visionary they tried to erase. Tesla's genius was not just in building, but in seeing. In 1882, while reciting poetry on a walk, the complete vision of a working AC motor came to him, fully formed. He could build and test devices in the workshop of his mind. He arrived in America in 1884 with 4 cents in his pocket and a letter of introduction to Thomas Edison. The letter was written by Charles Batchelor, Edison's close associate and European business partner. It read, simply, "I know 2 great men, and you are one of them. This young man is the other." Tesla went to work for Edison, but their minds were opposites. Edison, the pragmatist, worked by trial and error. Tesla, the theorist, worked from perfect principle. When Edison reneged on a promised bonus for improving his DC generators, Tesla left. The war was born. George Westinghouse, a visionary industrialist himself, saw the future in Tesla's patents. He bought them for a small fortune and gave Tesla a royalty on every horsepower of AC electricity sold. For a brief moment, Tesla was rich, respected, and changing the world. Edison fought back not with better technology, but with fear. He publicly electrocuted animals with AC to show its danger. He helped invent the first electric chair to associate Tesla's current with death. Tesla and Westinghouse's answer was light. They won the contract to illuminate the Chicago World's Fair, a dazzling proof of concept. It was safe, it was brilliant, and it captured the public's imagination. The final, undeniable victory was Niagara Falls. In 1896, Tesla's polyphase system harnessed the raw power of the cataract and sent it over 20 miles to light the city of Buffalo. The age of AC had begun. Tesla became a celebrity. He was the archetype of the lone genius. He lectured to packed halls, demonstrating fantastical electrical phenomena that seemed like magic. His mind ranged beyond power. He demonstrated a radio-controlled boat years before Marconi's famous transatlantic signal. He filed patents for the fundamental principles of radio communication. He was, by any measure, a peerless practical engineer. But these triumphs were, for him, stepping stones. If a coil could light a bulb without wires across a room, why not across a city? Why not across an ocean? The spark of his next greater war was lit. This was the purpose of Wardenclyffe. Not a lab for small experiments, but a prototype for a planetary system, a world system for wireless power and communication. He believed the Earth itself could be a conductor. To build it, He turned to the most powerful man in American finance, J.P. Morgan. Tesla convinced Morgan to fund the tower, but there was a fatal misalignment of vision. Morgan saw a profitable transatlantic telegraph to compete with Marconi, a point-to-point messaging system. Tesla saw a global power utility, a radical new infrastructure. He had the patron's money, but not his understanding. Tesla made his choice. He would use Morgan's money to build his dream, not Morgan's. It was an act of supreme conviction or supreme folly. It was the decision that would define the second half of his life and birth the legend of the mad scientist. The Wardenclyffe Tower was a money pit of epic ambition. By 1904, Morgan's funds were exhausted. Tesla begged for more, writing passionate letters about global transformation. Morgan's reply was final. He saw no commercial return, only more expense for a fantastical scheme. The financial lifeline was cut, construction ground to a halt. The tower was never operational. In 1917, it was dynamited for scrap metal to pay Tesla's debts. His grandest physical achievement was literally sold for parts. The scientific establishment had made a verdict. Respected physicists, like Lord Kelvin, dismissed his theory of Earth resonance. Without the concept of a conductive ionosphere, or the Schumann resonances, both undiscovered, his ideas had no grounding in accepted physics. To them, it was not just impractical, it was incoherent. While Tesla obsessed over power, others seized on communication. Guglielmo Marconi, using apparatus similar to Tesla's patented designs, achieved the first transatlantic radio signal. In 1909, Marconi won the Nobel Prize. Tesla's foundational role was erased from the public narrative. Bankrupt and professionally sidelined, Tesla retreated. He lived in a series of New York hotels, the bills often paid by Westinghouse out of loyalty. His world shrank to a room, and his beloved pigeons, the press, which once celebrated him, now fed on his eccentricities. He gave sensational interviews about particle beam weapons, thought photography, and interplanetary signals. Whether these were speculative musings, calculated headlines, or symptoms of isolation, they were perfect fodder for the mad scientist myth. The caricature crystallized. The brilliant engineer was overwritten by the image of the unhinged genius, out of touch with reality, talking to pigeons, and dreaming of impossible cosmic forces. He died in New York, alone, on January 7th, 1943. The obituaries remembered the mad genius, the eccentric who had once done great things long ago. The man who envisioned a wireless, powered planet was buried, seen as crazy and widely forgotten. In a final, bitter irony, months after his death, the US Supreme Court overturned Marconi's key radio patent, recognizing Tesla's work as foundational. It was a legal vindication he never lived to see, and too late to save his reputation. So, the record seems sealed, a tragic arc from genius to madness. But what if the story wasn't about a mind deteriorating? What if it was about an idea so far ahead of its time that the only box society had to put it in was labeled madness? After Tesla's death, science filled in the map of the world he was intuiting. In the 1950s, we confirmed the existence of the ionosphere, a shell of electrically charged particles high above the Earth, capable of reflecting radio waves, and perhaps more. Physicist Winfried Schumann calculated a theoretical prediction: the cavity between Earth and its ionosphere should resonate at an extremely low frequency, like a ringing bell. In the 1960s, we detected it. The Earth has a steady, electrical heartbeat. Tesla's idea of the planet as a resonant conductor was not fantasy, it was pre-science. Then, in 1990, pilots captured video of sprites, massive, mysterious electrical jets connecting thunderstorms directly to the ionosphere. Here was a visible, violent component of the global electric circuit Tesla imagined tapping into, a circuit completely unknown in his lifetime. Seen through this modern lens, Tesla's world system shifts. He wasn't describing magic. He was describing, in the language of 1890, the complex electrical ecosystem of our planet that we only began to instrumentally verify a century later. Today, the core of his vision is no longer heresy. It's an engineering discipline. Wireless power transfer is a reality. From charging pads for phones to ambitious projects aiming to beam solar power from space to Earth. The greatest challenge, efficient, long-range transmission, is where Tesla's ghost truly walks. Agencies like NASA and JAXA fund serious research into space-based solar power, confronting the fundamental problem Tesla identified: how to move energy efficiently through a medium without wires. Wardenclyffe wasn't a failure of imagination. It was a premature experiment in a science that didn't yet exist. Tesla wasn't wrong about the what, transmitting power globally. He was catastrophically ahead of the how and the when. His legacy, then, is twofold: the tangible, the AC grid that powers our civilization, and the intangible, a vision so expansive it took a century for science to provide the vocabulary to discuss it seriously. So, was it madness? Or was it a form of vision so acute it could perceive a pattern? The electrical nature of our world, before science had furnished the proof. Tesla's tragedy wasn't a failing mind. It was a mind operating on a frequency the instruments of his age could not yet detect. Nikola Tesla left us two legacies. One, we live inside every day, the electrified world. The other, we are still reaching for, a world unplugged, connected by invisible energy. His story forces a difficult question. What is the difference between a madman and a visionary? Often, it's only time. It's whether the world has developed the tools, the science, and the courage to see what they see. Tesla spent his later years listening for signals others dismissed as static. In a way, his entire life was just that, an effort to hear a deeper truth about our universe that was inaudible to the conventional wisdom of his age. He was not a perfect prophet. He got details, timelines, and methods wrong. But on the fundamental point, that the Earth is an electrical entity we could one day harness, that energy could flow freely, the arc of science is bending toward his vision. History is full of defenders whose truths were first met with silence or ridicule. If you believe in uncovering these stories, in questioning what we've overlooked, then you're already part of this search. Help us continue it. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell. The next forgotten truth is waiting. This has been For What It's Worth.